Hey everybody, welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the Altcoin show, coming at you 6 days a week. Welcome to the show wherever you are tuning in from around the world. Thank you for watching. We're going to talk about some altcoins. Don't forget, don't fade these altcoins, but there are some other altcoins that we should not forget about and that could be ready to pop. So we're going to look at some of those altcoins. We're going to look at the charts, okay? And of course, before we do that, you know what I'm going to say, smash that like. Certainly that helps get the content out to more people and help support the channel. Appreciate all of the kind words of encouragement left in the comments. I do read all of those and respond to all those. Thank you. And of course, I do get back to all the questions that are asked there also. And of course, the cheat sheet is below linked in the description. Check that out. I do get asked about that all the time. And so we're going to jump into some of these coins. We're going to cover a couple of them just in the news, and then we're going to cover the remainder of them in the charts, that we make sure that we don't forget about some of those cryptos. The first one that we don't want to forget about is none other than Solana. And Solana is having its own Groundhog Day today, and I did do a Groundhog Day video based on the movie. So if you've seen the movie, check out the episode I did on the crypto show a few hours ago. But Solana was the exact same price on the exact same day at 2021 at the same super full moon. And look what happened after that. We saw a crazy move from Solana to the upside. Are we going to see Solana's moment where it finally breaks out? We're going to look at that in the charts in just a moment. And of course, overall, I'm very bullish on altcoins. As you can see for the altcoin monthly chart, there is a massive bull flag there on this. And when this breaks, the move is going to be absurd. It's going to be absurd. How absurd? We've got to wait and find out with that. So lastly, before we jump into the charts, we have Render. And it's getting its own sphere like the one in Vegas and Abu Dhabi. And Render powers this first one should bring more attention to the token's use case. Whales have been accumulating Render. Do they know something we don't know? In the last couple of days as well, activity surges over 500%. Render is now deflationary, and it appears the token will break its monthly highs for burns this month. So they have been burning Render at a very high rate. You know what happens when supply goes down? Price usually will eventually shoot to the upside. Let's see what shakes out with Render, and we'll certainly be talking about Render in the charts. We're going to jump into the charts right now, and actually the first one we're going to talk about is one of them that's already made a move to the upside, is Banana Gun. And I want to show you here, first of all, I draw from the Fibonacci's. From the bottom here, we got the bottom, most recent local bottom here at $33.65. Remember, I've been telling folks to buy banana since it was $29. And then I told people again to buy it at $35 and $39 and $41. And then the last time was on the Stocks with Josh show. I was on there and it was $47. And I was still saying it's time to buy. And then it hit that, it broke above 50, retested the support, and off to the races for Banana Gun. Now we have found a clear top of the range. So this is beautiful because I do love trading ranges. As you can see, this was a range to trade. It didn't, bottom of the range here, you can see. And actually, if you go back, you can actually see this range has been in play for a little while. There's close to the top of the range there. You could come back, buy the bottom of the range, goes back up again. But anyway, let's come back to here, to Banana Gun. And so what you can see here is I've drawn the Fibonacci's from the top to the bottom, and then I've identified areas and there's the $54 area there. Now, we didn't quite get there yesterday with this candle. We got to 56, but I did make a manual buy there. I just thought, I'm not going to bother about $2. I jumped in. I mean, I sold this up here, so buying it back for like $10 less is a good trade in my opinion. Now, can we drop a bit lower? Certainly, I do identify the 50 region here. The middle of this range is at $50. So 54, and then there is 50 here. Okay, so I've put 54 to 56 in the Discord as the buy area. And then if we come down a little bit lower, we've got this $50 level. the $50 level here. Here's the 54 level. And then, of course, if we lose that level, you can stop out of the trade underneath this level here. But certainly we've got the tribal trades trend line, which has been acting as fantastic support right there. And so we could get some more support down at this trend line around about. We've got the next fib level down there. What have we got there? Around about 40. What have we got? The 41 level here, which is below the trend line, but we've certainly got the $46 level, which is down over here. So we could find some support there. And certainly if we're getting, I'm not sure we get back to the bottom of this range here. That's why I like trading. Sometimes you'll see this where it comes down, it will hit here and then go up. So that's why I like an entry here. And then down here, I get my second entry in here and certainly ride that back up the top, take profit at the top of the trend line here, TP1 over there. But certainly if we do come down, the levels to below are going to be 43 and 41. I'm not sure if we see down here. I think this could provide the support we need unless Bitcoin absolutely just grabs itself and falls to the downside. Blub is in the buy zone right now. We're at the bottom of the range. Now, if we lose this, and what will I get out of the trade? No. I want to wait to see if it breaks below, and then on a rejection here of 10.4, about 10.4, 10.3, that is where the time would be to exit the trade. And then you could certainly go to like the 1 hour time frame. So now I kind of will now watch this on the 1 hour, because on the 1 hour, if we're broken below, clearly broken below it, and if we reject it and hit that to the upside and have a clear rejection down, that would be the time to cut the trade. You could even go to the 15-minute time frame and do that there. So we've got a sharp drop of blub right there. So are we going to see it bash back up, retest this as support? Then we're fine. We'll stay in the trade. And I'm looking for whether we retest this line here, and on a rejection or a breakthrough of this line, I'll decide what to do with that trade. Bonk has come nicely back down to our 23 level here. So there's an entry there for Bonk. If we look, Bonk was a great trade. I gave the entry at 20. It zoomed all the way up. Look at the Fibonacci here. This could have been a good place to take a little bit off the table at 24, 25 that it got up to. Certainly our take profit target up here at 28 has not gotten hit yet. So this, you could trade little swings. But certainly if you're not in the Bonk trade, 23 is the level that you can look to get into. And as I did share on Bitcoin Show, there are 3 ways, and I'll share it again. There's been a little bit of confusion. When do you take the trade? There are 3 places to take the trade here. You can either front run it and take the trade in here. Right below it, you can see, hey, this is hugging and it might break through, and boy, did it break through. Okay, so you can take the trade. That's called front running, and just make sure you have a stop loss. Secondly, you can take it on the break. So as it breaks through, you can get in the trade believing that it's going to, because now if you miss that trade and you're waiting for the retest, we're about to get the retest here, or we're practically getting the retest right now. So you could have made money on that trade. So you can front run it. You can trade on the front run. You can trade on the break of it, and then just make sure you have a stop loss below in case it's just a fake out and comes straight back down again. Or you can trade on a break and a retest. And certainly you can go down to the lower levels like the 4 hour, okay? First of all, so we're not really getting our retest until very, very soon here right at that 23. You can go to the 2 hour, okay? And you can see, did we get a retest here? We got a little baby retest, I believe, on the 2 hour there. So there was one on the 2 hour, and on the hour there again, and then on the 15 minutes. So you can actually break it down and really granular, go to the micro level and break it down and look for the retest there on the 15-minute, the hour, the daily, or the 4 hour. You don't have to wait for the daily retest because you're not getting it until much later, and you've missed this gigantic move to the upside. So those who took some profits off the table for Bonk, that's great. And certainly, even if you didn't take profits here, a stop loss. This is why it's a good idea to move your stop loss up to protect the profit. So in case you break back down, we're above it. It's like, yay, we're going to keep going. But we didn't get a successful retest of this Fibonacci level here, this 24.6 level. And so in reality, you've lost all those profits to the downside. It may be okay because unless we lose this level here, we can maybe retest and then jump back to the upside there for that. 600 there, HNT, I gave this trade in the Discord. Certainly, we come down, we can see a retest. So far, it looks like a successful retest there. We can even go to the hour, and we got a successful retest off that 590s area. We certainly did there so far, so that's looking good. So HNT looking good for now. Our take profit's going to be all the way up here at $7.25. But the injective trade, wow, what an interesting one that was. Massive rejection at the 200 EMA and the 200 simple moving average. For me, certainly you could trade this little swing, get back in at 19, ride it up to 22, 23. That's one. Or you could wait for a break of this. And obviously you can front run it, trade it on the break, or trade it on the break and retest there. Just make sure you have stop losses there for injection. Popcat, I'm still looking for that. And this is why I didn't FOMO in up here. You're all asking me, what's an entry for Popcat? And I'm like, no, I'm not buying it there. I said, when people ask me what's the entry for Popcat, I said September the 6th. That was the entry for Popcat. Jump in a time machine. Otherwise, the $1.10 to $1.15 would be a possible entry. But I look, left shoulder, head, I would not like to see this move up and create a right shoulder there. So I'm staying out of this trade for now. This is not a trade for me at the moment. Certainly if we come down to the $1.10, $1.15, that could be an entry, but then you want to have a tight stop loss, because then the next level is all the way down at like 90 to 95 cents, maybe 90 to 95 cents there. So just be careful with that Popcat trade. You know, it's had a massively parabolic move, and we don't want to buy these big green candles. We want to buy dips there with the Popcat. And even the $1.10 to $1.15 would be a just-in-case buy, in my opinion. It's still very risky, because we could come down, tag that area here, and then come up, create a right shoulder, and then capitulate to the downside there. So just be careful with that trade. Render, what are you doing to me? I just talked you up. I just talked up your game, and you've gone and given me a little bit of a mini pepperoni to the downside there. But certainly a break here of 538 for the render trade, and would be the place to get in, and we would be riding that up to all the way up to $6.25 there. So that's the render trade. We're waiting on that one there. The say trade, certainly there is a trade here. It's more risky at 42. Otherwise can wait if we get back down at 39, and then there is also 37. Of course, if you got on this trade when I gave it, you would have made some parabolic kind of money up there. 29 all the way up to 50, and that would be our take profit again. So we're about to get a bullish cross here. We're about to get a golden cross on say. So if we do see that push, these two lines push above each other, again, these could be areas, these three areas to jump into the say trade. We have the Solana trade. We're right on it right now at 151. Again, you can take that. You don't have to wait for the retest, as long as you put your stop loss under there to make sure you protect the trade, and then ride that back up to 160. Certainly, you could wait for a break and retest. Just go to the smaller time frames that I showed you before. And then, of course, we're jumping into one of our favorites, SUI, and certainly the tribal trades trend line. And this is the same with Banana Gun. And this is where you can just make money when a coin goes sideways. People are messaging me, "What's up with SUI? What's going on?" I'm trading it. That's what I'm doing. I'm trading this. As you can see down here, we've got entries here. And then we would take profit up at around that $2.30. And if we were to come down, we'd get more entries again, and so on. Now, if it breaks under here, we can stop loss out, and then we can trade this range here. And so it's just really as simple as that. Right now, we're in the entry, $1.95 to $2.05. I wouldn't put a whole bag there. I'd maybe put a little bit there. And then if we drop back down again to that 195, which we didn't quite get to, we got to 197, could add a little bit more there. So that's that little buy area for me here, little sweet spot there down to the 5. But if we lose that, then I could see some further retracement down for we could come all the way back. And we may not all come all the way back to the bottom of the range, by the way, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, or if we get to it there, and I'll update. And then, of course, we have Tau, and Tau, same thing. Tau is right on the 50 on the Fibonacci's. Okay, it's right on the 50, so we're right in the buy zone right now. Just be careful. We do drop below here. When would be the place to exit the trade on these? It's the same thing. If we lose this, usually we'll come back and retest. And on the rejection of that, if it rejects, then that's when players could exit the tower trade on the swing trade. For Hotle, if we drop, I'm just buying more lower down here because I sold all the way a bunch all the way up the top at up here around the 680, and so me being able to buy it back for less is beautiful. And so we may come all the way back down to these levels here. We may not. This may hold, and we may trade in this range and then take off, and we just might not see this again. If we do and we break to the downside, obviously that takes us out of our swing trade, but it then adds, we can jump into Hotle. And that's why I like having the two separate portfolios, swing and Hotle, because then if I'm out of one trade, then I can start adding for Hotle for the other trade there. And so that's how that can work. And so what are some of the other ones that we don't want to forget about? We don't want to forget about Avalanche. We're going to have a quick look. And certainly we are below the 200 EMA on the daily. We are below the 200 simple moving average, and there's the 50. So the trade there for Avalanche would have been here on the break, and you could have ridden that one up 24 all the way up to 29. Now we're below. So the next entry point is going to be down around 25. Or you could front run this and say, hey, we're going to break, but you just have to put a stop loss and enter the trade around this $27 level, because there has been some support here. Look here, over here, a lot of support here. So you could front run. So you could either front run here, get in the trade, make sure you have a stop loss set. So if we lose that 27, you stop out of the trade. Or you could wait for a break and enter on the break. Again, have a stop loss, or you could wait for a break and a retest, and you jump to the hour or 15-minute time frame to look for that retest and ride that up to take profit to 29. It's just a very short swing. Or you could wait until we break this level here at around 30, 29.30, and get and then move to the upside, and then there's going to be more resistance there at 32. But I will tell you, after that, it looks like pretty plain, clear skies. There'll be a little bit at 32, 33. So there'll be a little bit of resistance here, but then we should motor fairly quickly up to that $40 level. So do not forget about Avalanche. Okay. Another one that I want to show you. I'm going to show you two more. Let's not forget about Fetch. Also an AI play here for Fetch. And certainly we have an entry and where we've got an entry on Fetch at $1.40. And we can ride that up. So we've broken down from there. And so now there's the entry there. We don't have it. We're just below it at the moment, okay? So there's not quite, we're looking for a break here, 139, 140. So we want to break there. Okay, so again, you can front run this, but we're on it. It's coming down at the moment, so I wouldn't front run it at the moment. I would wait for either a break, or I would wait for a break and a retest, go to the shorter time frames to look for that retest, and we can ride this one up to about $1.50 there. So don't forget about Fetch, another great AI token. And the last one that we're going to look at today is Floki. And Floki, don't fade the meme. Certainly for Floki here, another one that we do not want to forget about. This is one of the most successful meme coins from last cycle. It has broken its last cycle all-time high. That's how good Floki has performed, and we have an entry at 14.4. So if we break that, here you can take it on the break, or you can take it on the retest just to set your stop losses. Or if we come down to here, there's a second entry that you can get down here at 13.3. Obviously, there's 3 zeros in front of your listing in the car. You're like thinking, where has Floki gone? How did I miss 13.3? That sounds like a pretty high number. So there would be there. And then obviously the take profit is up at about 16.8 there. All right, so that's it for today. Thank you again for tuning in. And until the next episode, happy trading.